And we're back with another episode of Controlled Chaos. Back with us again is our longtime friend Adam from
What's
Pinnacle
going
Health
on?
and Performance. And today we're going to, shake up a little bit, start talking some shit, start exposing some secrets of the fitness industry, and of course, talking about our favorite brand here.
Right on. Looking forward to it. Appreciate you having me.
It's been almost a year since the last time we did one, hasn't it? Like February-ish of last year.
Yeah, it's been probably a year and a half. Because so tomorrow marks a year post-op from my spinal fusion, and it was at least several months before that we did the last one. It was at the Chaos Lab. It was me and you,
Yeah.
and then before that was you, me, and Clay.
Yeah, we
And
did that one in the summer. And then we did that one in like a February time frame or something. Man, time flies.
Yeah, it's been a while. A lot going on since then.
Yeah, I mean, you had spinal surgery. Why did you get that? Explain that to everybody.
So it was something I wrestled with for a long time. My lower back, like L4 and L5, L5 and S1, had degraded to the point where there was like no cushion whatsoever. And when that space between the discs collapses, it pinches the nerves coming out on both sides and causes a whole lot of pain. And so we tried injections, we tried physical therapy, healing peptides, and I ended up seeing 4 or 5 different surgeons, different specialists about it, and really didn't get an answer that I was confident with until I saw Dr. Reynolds at Ortho Virginia, and he just made me feel like, yeah, this is something we can do. The big parts of it that I was resistant or hesitant about was the recovery time. First of all, like, at least 6 months of not lifting anything heavier than 5 pounds, which for guys like us, as much as that is a physical recovery, like that's a mental thing too. But the hard part about that is they have to approach the spine from the front. So they actually had to cut my abdominal wall open it up, have a general surgeon move all my organs to the side, and then they approach the spine from the front. And so the longest part of the recovery is not necessarily the spine portion, because that's just a titanium cage, a spacer with a bunch of titanium pins and screws. It's having an 8-inch vertical incision in your abdominal wall. That's like you have to treat it like a horrible hernia.
Yep.
And so, you can't lift anything. You can't use your core. Like, you become afraid to sneeze or cough because it is the most painful thing in the world.
Man, laughing would kill me.
It was bad.
Because the off chance I start laughing and have a fit, it'd be over.
I remember, like, a few days post-op having to sneeze, and I sneezed, and it was just the most intense pain. I just buried my face in a pillow and screamed at the top of my lungs. It was horrible. But the thing that really got me to finally do it was meeting a surgeon that gave me the confidence, like, yeah, we can do this. And he also took my lifestyle into account. Like, even the general surgeon that opened me up put an extra layer of sutures to close my abdominal wall, because they were like, this guy's going to push his recovery. We know he is. Like, we're going to cinch this thing down so that he can't tear it back open. But then, Ryder being born, when you have a little one at home, you're like, I want to play catch with him. I want to be able to, and at that point I couldn't get out of bed. Like, I would roll out of bed and stretch out, and it would be, or even if like I'd mow the yard, I'd be out of commission for 3 or 4 days.
I mean, to say that's carrying groceries, like a gallon of milk's like 3 pounds, and small child and life activities, just moving around. Like, I can only imagine.
So it was rough at first. But, it went from thinking I would never squat again to, I can squat, I think to 365 for like sets of 5, like clean, slow, controlled reps to, full to parallel. And without any kind of pain, without any kind of, soreness or tightness afterwards. And I'm just slowly working my way back up. But for the most part, I'm pain-free 98% of the time.
I was going to say, do you feel like you're 100% back and you're just working your way back up to the weight, or do you feel like there's still a little bit more that needs to be healed?
I think I'm in pretty good shape. I coached 13U football this past fall and had completely forgotten about my spine surgery and was, running around in the field, covering receivers. Somebody's like, "Didn't you just have your spine fused last year?" I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, I did. I forgot about that." Like, it was something that had slipped my mind because I felt so mobile and like myself again. So, but the biggest thing is just being pain free and be able to do all those things without hurting all the time.
How long do you think it took you to get to that point where you could actually move around? Like, how many months? Because if you're 6 months immobile where you can't pick up more than 5 pounds, it's like, what, month 10 maybe? Where you're like actually moving around?
8, 9 months, I think. I'm all my surgeries. I'm the most non-compliant patient there is. But I decided, like, hey, if we're going to do this, like, I'm going to sit my ass down for 6 months and not do anything. And once I got the clearance to go back, it was, let's be smart about it, but, work my way back into this. And honestly, I think because I let myself heal, it gave me the best shot to quickly rebound. And it's still a learning process. A couple months in, I was squatting 2 plates and was a little overzealous with it and like went ass to grass and kind of bounced at the bottom. And immediately I was like, oh, that's not good. That hurts.
It like tugged on it.
Mm-hmm. So, which is probably just the motion of me dropping down and bouncing at the bottom of that rep. You get the compression of those discs and you get those nerves pinched and, they just get irritated for a couple days. But as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing and not doing something stupid, I feel pretty damn good.
Well, that's good. I mean, more important question is, did the team that you coach play better than how your Chiefs are playing currently?
Yes. Yeah, the Chiefs look awful right now.
That game was rough.
Yeah, a lot of it's characteristic of how the whole season has gone. But everyone's on Andy Reid for going on 4th and 1, but it's like, hey, are we going to ignore the fact that Rice had the ball in his hands? Like, all he has to he's catch the ball. It's a first down. Like, yeah, you can get on Andy Reid for, tie game, their own 30 whatever yard line, going for it on 4th and 1 when your defense has been playing so well. But you got to catch the ball. Drops, Kelsey's drop that turned into the 3rd interception. It's just like, that's just how the whole season's gone.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's been a lot of those plays where the ball hits the receiver and it just jumps up into the defender's hands.
Yeah, or even the beginning of the season when Kelsey ran into Xavier Worthy and
on that bad route.
That put a damper on things, especially with Rice out with that suspension. Like, you take away Mahomes' weapons, but I think the defense has been largely inconsistent. Chris Jones showed up better last night, but honestly, I thought Butker hitting the upright on that doink. I was like, that's just that was the end of 9 straight AFC West titles, whatever that is.
Yeah, I think they have to win out, and then the Browns have to upset the Steelers and someone else in order for the Chiefs to go now. It's something wacky.
Yeah. They have 14% chance to make the playoffs. But
so you're telling me there's still a chance?
Yeah, it's been painful to watch, but but it's funny because they've had a couple like Monday night games, and I'll literally go from coaching 13U football at practice and then going home and watch the Chiefs, and I'm like, God damn it. Like, I just went through this with my 13-year-olds and they understood it. Why can you guys not execute this? You know, like the Chargers game in Brazil to start the year. Chris Jones, like, stay outside, man. You got to keep contained. Herbert runs for 30-something yards and ices the game with his slide. And it's like, that's what happens. But, you know, you try too hard to make a play in those moments, and that's just what ends up happening. So, but out of my 13U team, out of, let's see, 8 regular season games, 2 playoff games, I think 3 or 4 of those we held the opposing offense to negative yards. So it's just, it's a good age to coach because kids are starting to, you know, when you coach like younger kids, you know, it's always funny to watch like the 7U kids because people will complain that they're like moving on the snap. It's like, ref, like he's moving. It's like, yeah, he's 7. Like, you know how hard it is to get a whole team lined up and get them to stand still when the ball snapped? But when, you know, with a 13U team, like they're starting to grasp offensive and defensive concepts, and, you know, we're running cover 2 man out of a zone look and, you know, stuff like that. That's, it was a lot of fun to coach. So it was, it's rewarding, and, you know, I don't know what the future holds. Would love to coach at the high school level.
I was just about to say, I was like, as your kids start to move up, would you move up with them to like high school? And
I definitely consider it. So, especially now that I have a good buddy of mine is Cosby's JV head coach, and just coached them to a like 9-1 season. And got the opportunity to coach with a guy who's like an air raid specialist, and it's always interesting talking to offensive guys as a defensive guy, because you know, the better you understand what an offense is trying to do to you, the better you can game plan against it. But no, coaching is always fun and rewarding. So
I feel it. That's how I feel about coaching. Athletes just, and there's also different age groups where people get it better than others. I specifically like the 25 to 35-year-old women because they are the most dedicated and they will listen the best, versus some of the guys who will just go off program. They felt good, so they're going to do something different, whatever. But seeing someone go from start to finish in a completely different process, it's fantastic.
Is that the most frustrating when you get guys that just kind of go off and do? What's the most frustrating part about coaching athletes like that?
So I said in one of our other podcasts that like it was the dichotomy between them being your friend and then also having personal time at home that's not coaching time, because people work out at 3 a.m. People work out at, 2 p.m. Some people work out, whenever, and they'll need advice or they want a video review. And it's like, well, I was at the gym from 8 to 4. I kind of want to be with my wife for like at least an hour or two of not being on my phone. And that might be someone's critical time, but it's like, I would say sometimes it is trying to formulate how the roadmap is, because you always have to like, how to say this, with any topic you do or anything that you ever have to teach someone, you want to be able to teach it at a 5th grade level, right? Like no matter what, you want to be able to explain the concept down as simple as possible. But then it's also hard to be like, you need this hypertrophy block. You need to have this type of conditioning. That way you can get to your strength. They're doing strength in this phase for a reason. We're putting these exercises in. That way when you actually start to peak for 12 weeks, you're not breaking down and dying.
Right.
Some people just like it just right over their head.
Yeah. You got to give them guidance. Well, you and I talked about that the other day, like the difference between strength training, like training for strength and training for size, and how like it is so much different. Don't get me wrong, they're both hard. They're just hard in different ways. Mm-hmm. Because and you and I talk about it because you're a strength athlete, and at this point, like I really don't care about my strength. It's like there's a clip of Kai Green talking about, people are like, oh, you're a weightlifter. And he's like, no, I'm a bodybuilder. Completely different. I don't care about the weight that I lift. I don't care about the number. Like, I'm trying to get my muscles to contract in a certain way to force hypertrophy to add size. And it's so different. Because when you're training for hypertrophy, you know, it is like the best way to do hypertrophy is you want completely exhausted muscles that barely recover when it's time for the next workout. And so you're kind of always in this state of like, I'm blasted. Like, I'm just, worn out. And you get people that go from strength training to, hypertrophy, and they're like, wow, like this sucks. And it's like, yep, it's just that. And yep. And it's going to feel that way next week. Like, that's just how it is. Strength training is, heavy, but get in, get out. We're not trying to do extra volume. We're not trying to, we're trying to send a very strong signal and then, progress the next week. And it's just, they're both hard, but they're hard in different ways.
Yeah, like that first intro block, usually after a meet, I put someone through. It's about conditioning. So you just did peak singles, you did your meet, so it's absolute strength. Your body now is strong, but you're not going to be able to sustain that now after we put your body through that. So now we have to rebuild it. So you're doing a set of 3x7 on squats. And then you might have 6 accessories that you're pushing just as hard as you would for bodybuilding, because now we're able to go back and rebuild the base. Because again, if you're not conditioned, you can't move the weight. So you are increasing the volume, you're increasing your load capacity. There's a thing called Priplin's chart, something that Elite FTS has articles on that I use when I program for people. And you would think that they're bodybuilders in the beginning of this cycle, and then it switches. But if you don't do that transition right to each block, then, you could really detrain someone. Because like that same effect you're talking about with bodybuilding and hypertrophy training is that like, if you're not able to then recover and then build the strength part on top of it, then yeah, you just built muscle size that looks good.
Right. And if you watch, cause like I'm a fan of, I wouldn't say I'm not a fan of bodybuilding these days, but like I enjoy more, guys that like we grew up with, like 2001 Ronnie Coleman, like the best version that we've seen of Ronnie, or even back in the 70s and 80s with Arnold on stage at 235 pounds, but just absolutely shredded. But I remember watching like Jay Cutler train. Now, and again, Jay is very much a high volume hypertrophy guy. And that's why he's still mobile and functional today versus somebody like Ronnie, who's, has so many surgeries and pins and screws and, hobbles around. But I remember because Jay was a monster, like in the days of like the infamous like quad stomp and, but I was always surprised watching Jay train because it's like you'd think he'd be lifting more weight. You're used to seeing weightlifters and power lifters and strongman guys. And you're like, Jay's not doing that much weight, but he's doing super high reps. And I think that's why Jay is still functional and feels pretty good these days.
Yeah, all those guys. I mean, like I came up with the Ronnie Coleman stuff in high school, but then it transitioned to Generation Iron with Kai Green, God, I forgot all the guys just now. Phil Heath and those kind of guys, Dexter Lawrence. And those are the classic ones that we look to. And nowadays it's like, it's appreciative. Like there's some guys I'm really like, that looks like a really good physique, like Chris Bumstead and all of them. But they're also doing the same thing that Jay did to where they're not breaking down. And a lot of them are also on top of like the less amount of gear that's being taken. Their workouts now are sustainable long term because they want to win like 5-6 in a row and then be able to coast out and live a normal life versus just blasting it and going, and then all of a sudden your body's broken.
Yeah. And it's weird to watch training of some of like the big guys back, like Marcus Rule and people like that. And if you analyze their training, like their training's not all that efficient or effective. And what nobody wants to talk about is back then, a lot of like who was good was who just genetically could take that amount of drugs and still be okay. Like their blood didn't turn to soup. Their blood work looks okay. They're mentally holding it together and not, flying off the fucking handle and losing their mind. But if you look at like 16 or 17-year-old Ronnie before he did any kind of gear, he was a fucking monster.
Mm-hmm.
Like natural Ronnie was just like full muscle bellies, just had he just had the frame for it. And everything that we've heard about people that were around Ronnie back then just said like he tolerated drugs really, really well. And so it was interesting because no one talked about it. It's talked about a lot more now. But you look at those guys and you're trying to emulate their training, and you now looking back at that, it's like that's not the most effective way to train. Like you could pause here, you could slow the down portion of your reps and cause a much higher level of hypertrophy and a better muscle building stimulus if you did this differently. So it's weird to look at those guys that we all idolized and realize that their training wasn't scientifically wasn't all that effective, but they tolerated drugs well. And if you have to get after it in the gym, but any kind of stimulus with that amount of drugs is going to equal that net result. But it's weird to look back and realize that the guys that you looked up to and wanted to lift are not actually the poster child of this is how we should be lifting. That's why I like some of the YouTubers like Jeff Nipper.
Mm-hmm. I was just about to mention him as that's the takeoff of the scientific lifting. Jeff Nippard,
right?
Mike Ezertelli, and all of them.
Yeah, and you're talking about even Jeff talking about getting a good stretch doing lat pull downs. If you want to stretch your lat, you wouldn't put your arm up like this. You'd come across and really get this portion, get this stretch here. Just little things like that we're starting to learn and pay attention to. It's amazing how far training has come. But then there's the other side of it where, and it's one of my biggest pet peeves, people looking for different exercise modalities to make things easier on themselves. It's understand something. The gym should be work. That's what we're there to do. Let's look at this from a 10,000 foot view and remember what we're doing here. We're putting metabolic and mechanical stress on our bodies in order to get it to adapt and build itself stronger. So anything you do to try to make the stress level easier or make your work easier, you're only hurting yourself.
Yep.
No amount of banded step ups on a Bosu ball is going to net you the kind of muscle gain that you're after. Shut up, go pick up a barbell and lift something heavy. You want to do hypertrophy, it's really simple. Here's hypertrophy in a nutshell. Make sure the target muscle is the limiting factor. You don't want to be doing something, you don't want to be doing biceps. You're my shoulders kind of burnt out faster than my biceps did. If you're doing that, you need to fix your technique. 5 to 30 reps, which sucks, but that's just how it is. 10 to 40 sets per muscle per week. Make sure it's progressive. Either add weight or add reps over time. And that's the recipe for hypertrophy. But stop looking for the shortcut to make your time in the gym easier. Because all you're doing is reducing that stimulus, and you're not going to grow as much. The gym should be hard. Let's not forget what we're doing. And that's my biggest pet peeve is all these, but if I do this, and it's no. See the big guy over there? Do you see him doing banded step ups with Bosu balls and these weird kettlebell? No. He's squatting. He's
the at-home tonal and the Peloton systems that are just resistant core strength. And it's it's similar to in strength. We have the kids now that come in and they do see the bigger guys, but they're looking at them as he has a blown off tricep. He has knee pain. He did too much. And then they take it and they're the scientific method is I got to hit an RPE 6 at 7 p.m. at this day after I have 30 grams of carbs, and I take this pre-workout that has 2,500 milligrams of caffeine, and I'll be blitzed. And it's damn, bro, like just lift the bar. You just explained all this shit for no reason. Or like why your meet didn't go well is because well the sun was in my eyes and that threw off my cortisol, and the cortisol goes up, then retain water, and then I was uncomfortable in my squat. And it's like, bro, just lift. Jesus Christ, just lift. Like your coach prescribes 315 pounds for 3 sets of 3 as your back down. That means your top set should have been like closer to 350 for maybe a single or a double. There's a certain stimulus there that we're trying to achieve, which is a struggle. Like you need to actually have struggle. You need to sweat. You need to be able to feel like you actually did work. The back down will feel lighter because then it's intended for your body to be able to recover and get that form down. And some people are just like, I don't want to feel the struggle.
Right.
It's like, well, why the hell are we powerlifting then?
Right.
Why are we in the gym at all? If you don't want to be strong, you don't want to be cut, you don't want to like actually get stuff, out of it.
Right.
The reward is that you went through the pain and now you look good and you feel good and you're strong.
Yep. Yep. Embrace it. Like don't look for a way out, suck it up, push through it. And that's how you're going to get the results you want. It is, but we see a parallel on the nutrition side of things, like with food demons, because you get people that are like, oh, like this, you talk about just because our country is obese, period. That's not an argument. But people, we want to blame it on Red 40 and seed oils and microplastics and this and that. And it's like, no, that's not why we're obese. Like it is an abundance of tasty, high density, caloric food that is easy to access. There's an abundance of it. There's so many different options. Like you're not fat because of Red 40 or seed oils or whatever your food demon of choice is. And I think people are looking for a scapegoat. Like, hey, if we can just get rid of this will like.
It's like corn syrup in the 90s. God bless. Everybody was corn syrup and trans fat and what was the other one? Like partially MSG and stuff. Yeah. Food demons.
It is.
Just coin that phrase before it becomes like copyrighted.
Right. But people are always looking for a scapegoat as to it's not my fault that I'm the way I am. It's like, understand, like I said, now, I'm not making an argument that those things are good for you. Like, I don't drink tap water. Like, we get distilled water and use it in our, for water, for the, coffee maker and for everything like that. Microplastics are a very real thing that I actively try to avoid. But people get so focused on small things, they miss the entire big picture. Soda's another one. Like, artificial sweeteners. Just understand that diet soda is orders of magnitude healthier for you than full sugar soda. And it's just not even close. Like, we have enough evidence that artificial sweeteners are relatively safe over long periods of time. And but there's a lot of people that even people that count their calories and count their macros and shit like that, they won't remember to put their soda that they drink during the day in that count. And it's 160, 200 calories per can. Mm-hmm. Like, understand, if you get 500 extra calories a day, you're going to gain usually about a pound a week. Like, there are so many people that if they just switched from regular soda to diet soda could lose a pound or two a week consistently for a long period of time. Like, it's not even close how much healthier it is. But everyone wants to blame this and this and this. Like I said, microplastics are real. I think Red 40, I think we're going to see more evidence that, at least anecdotally with like ADHD in kids and things like that. I do, because I've seen it. But that's not why America is obese. And then you get to the portion of body acceptance, body positivity, and I'm all about that, at least how it started. But this whole fat acceptance, fat positivity, like fat influencers, like I'm obese but it has nothing to do with my health. Bullshit. Like, what are you talking about? All these people saying that it doesn't matter that I weigh 500 pounds. It doesn't have an effect on my health. Yes, it does. 1,000% it does. Like, we have so many studies that show that obesity either directly causes issues like diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, all those things. And even the stuff that it doesn't directly cause, it makes abundantly worse. Like, there is no argument for this. And there's a difference between like accepting people, like everybody's different, everybody's made differently, and you should love who you are. But reinforcing people's delusions that it's okay to stuff your face and be 600 pounds and that the airline owes you a free extra seat so you don't spill out onto somebody's lap. Like, come on now.
Yeah,
What are we
that,
really
that
fucking
Lyft
doing
driver
here?
that got fired because the girl who was 500 pounds couldn't fit in the car. Like, that rapper, God, what is his name? I can't remember, but like on stage, he sits down in just a standard chair because he can't walk around. But then you see like the stars who started body positivity, like Lizzo and Meghan Trainor, who both were like bigger women who were like, we love the body we're in. It was a good positive movement for that group. But then they ultimately cheated and went with the GLP route. And now that they are in way better health, they kind of see that like, I was enabling those habits. Like Lizzo has basically said that she has cut out a lot of fast food after getting down in size.
By the way, that episode of South Park is the funniest shit ever.
Oh yeah,
1000%.
that and Meat Canyon, they did one on GLP once.
But no, the story of that rapper in Detroit that the Lyft driver got fired because he was like, "You're not going to fit in my car," and then her lawyer comes out and says, "Well, it's the same thing as if the driver didn't want a black person or a Muslim in his group." No,
We're reaching now.
no, because it doesn't matter what race the person that gets in the car. That's not going to put mechanical stress on the suspension to the point of potentially breaking it. Like, come on. Like, what are we really doing here? Like, I understand the lawyer's getting paid, and in his mind, at least I hope he doesn't actually believe that, but it's like, come on, dude. Like, what are we really doing here? Like, the fat influencers that, Southwest is the best there because, like, they'll give you a free seat. It's like, no, this is bullshit. I got to pay a fee if my bag's over 50 pounds. But you get a free seat because you ate yourself into being 600 pounds? Like, there's a difference between accepting who we are, and I'm all for that. But reinforcing people's delusions and bad habits that are going to eventually kill them. You see these people on social media talk about, I hate going to doctors because they want to talk about my weight. And they're, the term that makes me laugh is fat phobic. We're not fat phobic. We're not scared of you because you're fat. We know that it's bad for your health and it's going to fucking kill you. And we're trying to save your life. And then it's ironic when all these overweight influencers pass away from obesity related diseases. And it's like understand, if you want to not be here for a long time, being morbidly obese is a very effective way to do that. Mm-hmm. It is. So I'm all for embracing, like, everyone's different, even you talk about genetics and you talk about like different responses to resistance training. Some people after 12 weeks of resistance training, we have studies that show that there's 5 to 10% of the population that after 12 weeks of resistance training shows zero detectable muscle gain. Like, they just have shit genetics. That's not their fault. And I'm all about like embracing who we are and like, hey, just do your best, but reinforcing delusions to the point where it's harming our society as a whole and promoting an image that is going to do real damage to people. Like, come on.
Yeah.
What are we really doing here? It's so unhealthy, and anyone that speaks up about it is immediately in trouble for it.
Yeah. I mean, the internet has kind of rallied now and stopped just canceling for everything. But like, man, yeah, like the past year or so, you've seen a lot of people, especially with the Lyft case and some of the seats and everything, you see that like, hey, this is more about like your health versus someone just not being accepting of you. You're probably a great person, but you're not being a great person when you force people on a flight to be delayed because you refuse to buy a second seat, or you make this guy's life hell because you got him fired and now it's blasted all over the internet that you couldn't get into his car. It's like the two sides of the same coin of these people doing this. And again, it just goes back to like, God, it's like, care about your health. Like, man, I love McDoubles. I just got the Grinch meal like the other night. Like, that's just extra green sodium. But I will still go to the gym the next day and make sure I do some kind of workout.
Right.
I will be active in some way. I will also drink a ton of water because Jesus Christ, I will shrivel up from all the sodium.
Right. And, splurging, having cheat meals, that's okay. Like I tell people all the time, like besides milk, because we have 4 kids at home, including 2 teenage boys and a 1-year-old that is going to be a monster. Like outside of milk being consumed in our house, the second most consumed thing in our house is probably s'mores Pop-Tarts. And I'm a big contributor to that. Like I'll get up at 3 a.m. to feed Ryder a bottle and I'm having a s'mores Pop-Tart. That's just almost daily. But it's within reason. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I hate when people have like cheat days, because it's counterproductive. Because let's pretend, okay, you're going to hit your diet for 6 days of the week. Like, and let's say you do really well. Like you're in 1,000 calorie deficit for each of those days. Okay, so now you have a 6,000 calorie deficit for the week. Like, I could fuck that up real quick.
Yep.
But with a cheat day, oh, come on. Like I could put down 12,000 calories and all of a sudden you're in a 6,000 calorie surplus for the week. And you have undid all the misery that you went through being in 1,000 calorie deficit for the whole week. Now you're 6,000 calories over because you went ham on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Like within reason. I love Pop-Tarts. I love pasta. Like my wife and I will go to dinner and we'll split a dessert. Like you can be reasonable, but let's not, again, it's people just looking for an excuse to do what they want and justify it in some way.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Same thing going into genetics, like moving away from the fat. It's like the people who, same thing with hypertrophy and being strong. It's like, well, my genetics won't let me look like that. My genetics also won't let me be this strong. And it's like, to a part, yes. But you also won't know until you actually put in the effort. The same thing. It's just the effort it has to be actually reciprocated in order to see results.
Do you know how many people like actually put in the work to get to that point where their genetics is the limiting factor? It's like, come on. Like, oh, I'm going to blame it on genetics, but it's like, are your macros good? Are you eating enough? Are you training the way you should? No? It's like, okay. And I think some of it is people just don't understand. Because you'd be surprised the number of people I talk to that are like, dude, I eat so much food and I just can't grow. And I'm like, okay, what'd you have for breakfast? And they tell me I had like 100 grams of carbs. I'm like, understand, I have 100 grams of carbs while I'm making breakfast. That's not a lot of food. Like what you think is a lot of food is not a lot of food. Like you need to eat more and grow. Stop looking for a shortcut or a magic pill or this and that, because there isn't one. Like in terms of supplements, there's really one king, and that's just creatine, period. Like it has been researched over and over and over. We have plenty of randomized studies that are, it is the one supplement truly backed by science to help grow muscle from a number of different perspectives. It'll help with body water, like, muscular uptake. But it's not just bloat. Like you actually have extra intercellular water. Creatine will reduce the expression of myostatin, which is a protein that limits the amount of muscle growth you have. Like, have you ever seen a picture of one of those cows or one of those mice that have a broken myostatin gene? Mm-hmm. They look like a fucking cartoon. They just grow muscle over and over and over to the point where like you couldn't give a cow enough anabolic steroids to get it to grow like that without killing it. Mm-hmm. But the ones with broken myostatin genes, they just there's no limit to the amount of muscle, skeletal muscle they can grow. And so creatine, to a very small degree, will limit or reduce myostatin expression. So it raises your ability to grow skeletal muscle. Now, that is where the medication side of things is probably going to be heading in the next 5 to 10 years, are myostatin inhibitors and things like that will, will make anabolic steroids look like, junk in comparison. But so creatine helps with water, helps with hypertrophy. Like you get increased like muscle fiber nuclei number. Like satellite cells will donate its nuclei, which is one of the biggest measurements of muscle growth and hypertrophy. So like creatine is heavily researched, and we have all this evidence to show that it works. Outside of that, it's kind of a wash. Like pre-workout will help you get a better pump and help you feel more energetic than the gym, but it's not necessary.
Yeah.
Like creatine is the king of muscle building supplements, and there's really not anything else that's even on the table as far as that's even relatively close by comparison. But everyone's looking for the shortcut, and there isn't one. Eat enough, train right. Like, it may sound controversial, but being in shape, it's not fucking hard. It's work. It's not sexy. It's fucking boring. It's the same shit over and over and over. I have chicken and rice so many times. Like, you find different condiments to put on it. It's just what you do. But it's not hard. It's not complicated. Like, it's a very straightforward formula. Like, a lot of people just don't want to do the work. Like, it's very straightforward. People are looking for a shortcut when it comes to diet. How can I eat like shit and still get the results that I want? How can I expend less energy in the gym? You know, and I think, but there's a giant misconception as far as like time you have to spend in the gym.
Mm-hmm. Powerlifters will spend hours. Like they'll take 10 minutes in between sets. Sometimes they'll start yapping, and it's like you could have done your workout in under an hour and a half easily, especially if you're doing 2 compound lifts and then like 4 accessories. So I told my wife, it's like if I don't get to talking to anybody, I can be in and out in like an hour and a half.
Yeah, if that. Like it's. But I think a lot of that bleeds into people who are like new to the gym or want to get back into it. I get asked all the time. People ask me like, how many hours a week do you train? And they expect to hear some ridiculous number. It's really not that much. 6 hours a week, something like that. And that's for my goals. Like, I'm not just trying to be healthy. I want to look like a fucking action figure. Like, that's just, it is what it is. That's the truth. But even for that, like 6 hours a week, like get in, get your shit done and get out. It's not hard. Not to mention, like, I've got a wife and 4 kids at home, and I'm running a business and trying to launch another one, and, you know, trying to launch a third. Like, you only have so much time. But I think people that are starting to get into it don't understand. Like, if you can get to the gym twice a week for 30 minutes and really get after it, you'd be amazed at the amount of progress that you can make. Like the statistical difference from not working out to just 30 minutes twice a week would blow your mind of like how much different it is. You don't have to be in the gym for 2 hours a day. You don't even have to be in the gym for 2 hours a week to see some really substantial results. And you get people that you tell them that and they're like, oh shit, like I'm on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, you know, for an hour at night. Like, you're telling me I could just get to the gym? If you get to the gym 30 minutes 3 or 4 times a week, you're set. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, that's all you really need. You know, people, like I said, people ask me about my training regimen, and it's like, it's really not that intense. Like, it's not that crazy, you know? And it's limited by childcare at the gym and, you know, the work meetings and snow days and shit like that.
Snow days, yeah.
But
running competitions, visiting you at the other gyms, like just, yeah.
But people think it requires this ridiculous amount of time. And when you tell them that, 30 minutes, 2 to 4 times a week, like, you'd be shocked at the amount of, and most people, when you put it that way, they're like, well, I think I could probably commit that kind of time. It's like I said, most people are on their phones for, you know, sit there at night and scroll endlessly. Like,
Get off work, drive home. They sit in the driveway on the phone for like an hour.
it's amazing. It's, but you try to encourage people to get into it. And you and I talked about that the other day about, like, because that's the other thing that I have noticed, like people that are worried about looking weak when they like first get into it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like people, it's just not the case. And don't get me wrong, I know exactly what that feels like, because I remember when I was, 13 or 14 getting into the gym, like I absolutely felt out of place. But yeah, so PSA for anybody who's either new to the gym or trying to get back into the gym, do not worry about trying to feel weak, because the truth is 95% of people are so self-absorbed and vain that they really don't pay attention to you. Like, they don't give a shit. They really don't.
Yeah, the big guy in the corner probably is not staring at you because you're weak. He's probably looking to see if he can approach you to help you.
Right.
He's probably like, man, I remember when I was that size. I wonder if he needs any help.
Yeah, and you get guys like us in the gym that my wife tells me all the time that I look too unapproachable. I'm like, I don't know about that. But understand, like, if we see somebody that's new, especially if I see like a 13 or 14-year-old kid who's getting after it and is not trying to ego lift, he's literally just, I don't care if you have 2.5s on the bar. Like, if you're pushing yourself, like, I will spot you. I will encourage you. I'll get in your, I'll do whatever I need to do. Like, because we love that shit. That's what we like. We've been there. We live for that shit. And understand that if there's that one guy that gives you kind of a rude look in the corner, understand that he's a douchebag and nobody at the gym likes him either. There's one of those at every gym, and no one gives a shit what he thinks because he does that to everybody. But like, generally, most people either don't care, and the ones that are paying attention, like, we're all about it. I love that. I love if I see, or if I, especially when I have like a high schooler or a younger kid stop me and ask me a question, like, I'll sit there and I'll over explain, like, hey, you could do this, or you could do this, or hey, maybe try, like, hey, when you're doing dumbbell bench, like, really focus on bringing that dumbbell out to the side and really get that stretch,
Right.
And hold, pause for a second, and and then come up. And hey, if you're doing enough weight when you come up, rotate the dumbbell so you get a better squeeze here, because you can bring your hands closer together. Like, I will help people like that all fucking day long. I live for that shit, because I know how hard it was for me to acquire that knowledge, and all you want to do is share it with other people. Like, so if you're new to the gym or trying to get back into it, do not be worried. Do not, just get in there and get after it. And people are either going to not pay attention to you or genuinely be excited for you and your progress, and we're just happy that you're there. I mean, that's the honest to God truth, man.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a lot more accepting nowadays, and everyone's pretty much more to themselves, or they're very collaborative with everything. I think that goes both ways in any sport, any commercial gym, private gyms that we're in. It goes to competitions the same way. Like, there's people who are first-time lifters at competitions, and the most senior old guy in the room who's opening with 600 pounds will look at you and be like, oh, no, you can squat with me. I'll make sure you get your warm-up in. I don't need to do whatever. I feel like fitness has just become more collaborative in itself. I can't say that I've really ran into anyone who's super selfish that lasts very long. They usually kind of burn out, or they end up being, the person that gets avoided.
Right. And I think it has to be said for the teenagers, young kids out there, especially the ones on social media all the time, just so you know, those influencers that you follow, a lot of them that claim to be natural are not fucking natural, and everybody knows it. They won't ever admit to it, but like, don't believe everything you see on social media. Or even if that person that says they're natural is natural, they may just have really fucking good genetics and got lucky. And you shouldn't reduce yourself in your mind comparing yourself to them, or based on where they're at versus where you're at. And and you see like high school kids comparing themselves to 20-something-year-old, fitness influencers. And it's like, understand that they're several years further into that journey than you are. and they're probably right where you were when they were your age. Like, let's not, you know what I mean? Let's not, don't, everybody's timeline is different, but understand that especially when it comes to like the difference between like a 16-year-old and a 21, 22-year-old, like it's 5 or 6 years of training. Like that's a huge, substantial difference. Like do not expect yourself to be at that point until you get there. But yeah, I feel like I need to be on social media more to dispel some of the terrible fucking advice that is given.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, like with strength sport, we're seeing a lot of kids come in. Like some of my VCU kids who just competed 2 weeks ago. It's like some of them are deadlifting more than me, and it took me the 5 years of powerlifting to get to that point. Some of them are reaching new heights and just strength overall. It's just that they have to then recognize that, like, hey, there is now a good amount of time where you're not going to make as much progress. Like, it's cool that you deadlift 7, you're benching 350, and you're squatting a high 5 number. It might be now another 5 years until you add to all 3 of those lifts, and especially with bench. And then you also have the life factors that kick in. So the kids that are in high school, the ones that are in college, that all they can do is dedicate time to the gym. It's like, yeah, wait till you get in a committed relationship. You have a full-time job. And then you go on trips. And then you have the competition in the middle of a family vacation. It's like, that's when you're really going to see how the maturity and how your long-time goals actually lined up.
Right. And you have to understand that your training, your nutrition, everything it has to be flexible. It has to be adaptive. And I've learned that more and more, like being a dad and a husband and a business owner. You know, there are weeks that I'm swamped with work and, you know, I'm going to do less, and that's okay. Because if as long as I get into the gym once or twice and get after it, like I'm fine. I'm not moving backwards. I'm not losing, sometimes just standing where you are and staying still is that's okay. Like I have a 1-year-old at home. I got 2 teenage boys at home that both play sports. We have a 10-year-old girl that is trying to do everything. Like it's okay to just pause and and you also have to listen to your body. Like don't schedule your time off. I tell people that all the time. Don't schedule your rest days. Take a rest when your body tells you it needs to rest.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are times that I'll look at my wife or she'll look at me and she's like, "Take a day off today?" I'm like, "Yeah, that would be wonderful." Like I'm gonna sit on the couch and work, and especially when Ryder's napping, like I'm gonna spend some time with my wife because that is just as important. Sometimes, taking that hour and a half that we would be at the gym and reconnecting with my wife, and like even if it's watching body cam footage on YouTube and laughing, like that shit's important too. Like don't. And I was probably guilty of it for a long time, especially in college, and I was so regimented with training that I was so inflexible. Like there are days that I would do like heavy lifting days on a Friday night after meetings. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like we had a game in the morning, but I was like, I can't take a day off training. I was so inflexible and so unwilling to, when, the truth is like, if I had taken a rest day, like I probably would have played better the next day. I probably would have felt better in general. But like, don't be afraid to take days off. Don't be afraid to listen to your body, because your body will tell you when it needs a break. And overtraining is a very real thing. I think it's overblown. I think people start to use it as an excuse, but you have something called your like maximum recoverable volume. Like there's only a certain amount of volume that you can do. And once you get past that point, like you need to stop, because your body is not going to recover from that. And not only are you not making gains at that point, you're actually moving backwards. Like you'll start to undo things because your body cannot recover fast enough. And yeah, you got to take a break. But being flexible is, it's a maturity thing, I think, for a lot of people. Like I've learned so much becoming a husband and a father of 4. Like you have priorities.
Mm-hmm.
There are times that we've skipped the gym because Ryder's asleep, but it's like, yeah, little man needs his nap. I'm good. Like I can get some work done. I can be productive. I'm gonna do something, but I'm not gonna wake him up to go to the gym. Like you just have other priorities that need to take precedence. But you can juggle a thousand different things and still get after it. You know what I mean?
I feel like that is a overlooked thing, especially people feel guilty that they've missed 2 days in a row. So then they almost chicken out the third day, and then you're now off track. So you don't even think about it because now you're busy again with actual work. So you can't go, and there's 2 months gone. And it's like, well, now you just go back in and restart. Just like we said, just you walk back in, you start building back your confidence, you start building back your capacity, you start building back your conditioning. Life happens. I mean, I didn't lift for a month and a half when we were moving the gym last December. And I mean, I came back and within 3 weeks, I'm still back squatting 606. Like your body remembers, you'll be fine.
And that's the other thing people don't understand. Muscle memory is a very real thing, like almost to an unfair point. However long it took you to make the progress that you saw, that is not the amount of time it's going to take to get back there. And a lot of times it is a small fraction. Like you could spend 6 months training and feeling good about where you're at, and then stop and regress to the point where back to where you started, and then lift for a month and be right back to where you were. Like muscle memory is a very, very real thing, and you need to give yourself some leeway and take a break from things when you need it.
Which ties back into your spine surgery. I mean, like that's exactly what happened with you, and that's why you're able to do what you're able to do.
Yeah, yeah, and it's. But I think it's not discussed enough, or people, they're so afraid of. I mean, at least this could just be me, but getting attached to, feeling a certain way, looking a certain way. And like I said, I think a lot of it's just a maturity thing. You just have other priorities and you make time when you can make time. But, there are days that my wife and I will train 6 days a week, and there are days that we'll train twice a week, and that's okay. Like it's all a balance, and you maintain that love for the gym.
Yeah, because if you get too strung up on your routine, you might burn out, and that's even worse because then the love for it's gone. It makes it a lot harder to get back in and restart or to continue.
Yeah, as soon as you find yourself like being at the gym and you're like, I just don't want to fucking be here, it's probably time to take a break.
Yep.
Like that is a huge clue that you are doing too much or like you need to take a break mentally, because people focus on, I did shoulders, my shoulders are recovered. And it's like, okay, but there's like 16 other things that goes into this. You have fatigue from a systemic point. Like, you go through CNS fatigue, you go through central nervous system fatigue, especially doing like heavy movements. I remember the first time I squatted heavy after my surgery, which I did legs with my wife, which is
brutal.
Oh my God. You ever have it like you work out with somebody and they're just unconceivably strong and you have to like find another gear to keep up with them?
Mm-hmm.
That's my wife. Walking to the gym a couple weeks ago, and she's like, because I was doing legs with her, and she's like, we're going to do sets of 20 on everything. I'm like, huh? Why? I don't want to do this. But I find myself constantly working out with her, and I'm like, fuck. Like, I have to go. Whatever weight I thought I was going to do, I was like, I can't do that now, because she did 5 pounds lighter than that. Like, and I'm, 100 pounds bigger than her. Shit. Like, I got to really, fuck, I hate this. And you just suck it up. But, I mean, she's a genetic anomaly. She's a unicorn anyways. She's been through 5 pregnancies and looks the way that she does. Like, it's just inconceivable.
That's a different level of strength.
Yeah. Yeah. When you got a mom of 5 that, you know, at one point she fit size 0 jeans and squatted 270 pounds. Like, what the fuck? She's, yeah. But, there are days that we train 2 days a week, and weeks that we train 2 days a week, and weeks that we train 6 days a week. And it's just, you do what you can do, but we both still get after it. It's still plenty of time to make enough progress. I saw a YouTube clip the other day of who DJ Shipley is.
Mm-hmm.
So DJ was talking about like universal performance standards and like how to objectively measure your performance. And so we were talking about like he was talking about bench press. Put on your body weight, see how many times you can do it. 20 is elite. So I put on 245. I did 18 reps. Not quite elite, and I'll keep pushing it out and get to 20. But, I still, and I'm super hard on myself. Like, I understand that from a general perspective, I'm in much better shape than a large percentage of the population. But, it's just, you can get whatever you want done in whatever amount of time that you have. It's just how hard you're willing to work to get there. So
it's very important as we enter the holiday season here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's setting the scene right now with the snow. And none of y'all can see this, but probably one of the more snowy days we got in, RVA. But I feel like we are getting towards the end of this camera battery. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through our Christmas traditions. Hit me with some of yours, because I'm kind of more unconventional with it. I'm not a super huge Christmas person, but I know with the family, you got a lot of stuff going on.
I just like watching the kids open gifts on Christmas Eve. That's my favorite part. We don't have any real like unusual traditions. I like cooking dinner on Christmas Day. But Christmas movies, my wife makes mean hot cocoa. So, watching Elf or Christmas Vacation, those are my 2 favorites. What are some of your traditions?
So we do either one gift on Christmas Eve. If I go to my wife's, it's candlelit Christmas service, which is basically just the choir singing the Christmas hymns. Her family also does breakfast for Christmas, versus mine does like the traditional ham and a couple other, meats and stuff similar to Thanksgiving. But movie wise, I think the family favorites of both is like the Polar Express, Elf, and then I don't know if you're familiar with Jingle All the Way. Arnold Schwarzenegger's one of his first
Sinbad?
movies. Yes.
Yes.
So fun fact, just everybody, this is something I always tell people. My mom dated Sinbad for a while.
No shit. I did not know that.
And it was just like, because she was on base near where he was doing a lot of his comedy gigs and just happened to run into him. But like she ended up getting transferred out. That fizzled out. And it's just funny enough that like years later, she's like, oh my God, like he's on movies. That's
wild.
Crazy thing that my mom dropped lore on.
That's funny. You have a favorite Christmas song?
Oh, you know what? I think the only one that comes to mind is CeeLo Green did Mary Did You Know? Just his rendition of it is pretty good. The wife is pretty big on pentatonics. So any of their mixes, because they mixed up all the songs.
I got you. I'm a fan of anything Sinatra. There's, growing up in the Midwest, I listened to a lot of country. So like Chris Young has a pretty good Christmas album. Cody Johnson has a pretty good Christmas album. When it comes down to it, anything by Sinatra, which is, I think it can be true of just my music taste in general. Like I've always said, if you don't like Sinatra, there's something wrong with you. I'm sorry.
I made the whole montage for New York with Sinatra.
Oh yeah.
I forgot to mention the claymation movies like Rudolph and The Year Without a Santa Claus, The Miser Brothers, Christmas, all those. But the other small thing I do is I like ginger snaps. I'll basically take a bag of ginger snaps, put them in a giant bowl, and then pour milk on them, eat them like cereal. Every year I do this.
That sounds phenomenal.
It's like a solid 1,200 calories from the whole bag of ginger snaps, but I do it. That's just something weird I do. And then I feel like the wife likes to bake more when it comes to Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my wife as well. She's always baking something. It's always phenomenal. I don't bake. I can cook. I like cooking, but
I'm the exact same way.
I'll leave the baking up to her. She's very, precise, and I'll just a dash of this, a dash of that, and taste it and find something to turn. I mean, like Marry Me Tuscan chicken soup 2 weeks ago. God, it was phenomenal. And the macros were not all that great when you have like heavy cream, but it was a cold day. It was so good, so good. I could cook like that all day long.
Oh yeah,
I wish I had more time to. So
it's part of them priorities we have.
Yeah.
But to end it off, is there anyone you want to shout out or different brands? You want to shout out Pinnacle? Give them a little speech here.
Yeah. Well, the first shout out goes to my beautiful, loving wife. She's incredible beyond words. And my kids. So Chase, Aiden, Haley, Ryder, like, I love you guys. You guys are the reason that I do what I do. But outside of that, I have some guys in North Carolina that have been remarkably supportive. Adam Nye, Henry Havey, Joey Mack, they've been supportive of Pinnacle from the very beginning. And so, but as far as Pinnacle Health and Performance goes, we do everything from hormone replacement therapy, peptide therapy, growth hormone therapy, weight loss, sexual health, hair loss, injury prevention and recovery. You can find us pinnaclehealthperformance.com. You can find us on Instagram at Pinnacle Health Performance. Trying to put out more educational content, but if you have any questions, want to get your blood work done, hit us up, and we are more than happy to take care of you. So, but appreciate you having me as always. It's always a pleasure, and hopefully it gets to the point where we can run into each other more. It's always nice seeing you at the gym when you're in our neck of the woods.
Yeah, man. I mean, we got to do another podcast here soon because we just nerd out. So like doing another maybe 2 hour one would be kind of nice. Maybe throw in a little more science, different things. Because I know we talk about it on the side, but we didn't get to break down all of it today. And yeah, I mean, like people I'll shout out is 100%, 110% nutrition with the, of course, RTD here, lemonade version. We're going to go with barefoot shoes. We're going to go with next level strength. And of course, Pinnacle Health and Performance. As always, thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share. Give us a thumbs up. Leave me a review. Tell me what you got to do better. Just kidding. I am the best.